Well, we welcome each of you here today as we consider the cross of memories. And I'm going to invite Vern up to be with us the first part of this message today. Have you got one? Okay, he's all set. He's ahead of me there. Vern has been one who comes to us today who has been through some struggles in life and has some memories of those struggles, and we're just going to give him a little shot here to be able to tell us a little bit about that. So, Vern, would you please?
Good morning. My name is Vern. I'm a griever. A griever, someone who's had an extreme loss in his life. I lost my spouse. Some of you I see out here also lost spouses, or a mother or father or grandparent, someone you dearly loved. I am no stranger, actually, to this congregation. I'm kind of a frequent visitor, but actually I was baptized and born into this congregation May 23rd, 1945, by a Methodist lady doctor. And poof, I was a Lutheran. I don't know how that works. I was also be able to benefit of the Christian education by going through the 8 grades of school here. My class left some marks here. Some of them you may not have found yet, but when I go through the gymnasium and see the big panther on the floor and on the wall, our class, the 59, named them the Trinity Panthers. And so it was something we did, and we left a legacy here that we didn't realize that still stands 50 years later.
Good memory.
Well, after a 15-year battle with lung cancer, my wife died, and I was a mess. The night she died, I got in the car at the hospital, and the words of Jesus on the cross, "It is finished," came to mind. All the talking and all the thinking about this for so long, and it was finally here. And I got in my car alone, and I drove off down Dodge Street, and I saw these overpasses. And I was thinking, and I heard this voice next to me. It said, speed up and turn right. Speed up and turn right. You could sail off. Your problems will be over. No grieving, no funerals. You'll be with her again. You've only been part of her for about a half an hour, maybe an hour. The devil was sitting right there next to me in my worst, lowest time of my life. He was right there trying to work his magic. And so, at the time I got home, about 11:30 that night, I went outside. I stood out in the middle of the street under the street light, and I looked at the sky. It was a clear sky, and I looked up there, and I looked up there. I came in the house, and I told my 2 daughters, "Well, I don't see her." They kind of looked at me like, And I don't think I really thought I would see her soul. But I think in the back of my mind, I was wondering, can she see me? I talked to Pastor about that one time, and he says, "I think they probably have better things to do up in heaven than keep track of us." But the time went on, and I was a real mess. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to talk to. I called my big sister, called my little sisters, talked to them. They tried to help me, but if you've gone through this, you know that only you and the people who have gone through it really know what's going on. If you haven't gone through it, there's no way I can tell you. I went to church, where we always went to church, Sunday morning. That's where you get solace and comfort. Church, Sundays. Sundays aren't so good for people grieving. I was alone. The person sitting next to me for 39 years was no longer there. We would sing songs about our saints in heaven, and I would think about her up there and me down here and my best friends up there, and I thought, how I missed her. And tears would come to my eyes. We'd sing songs about things like that. I wanted to get out of the church. This isn't very good. So I thought, well, I've got the freedom now. I'll go visiting some other churches. I came here to Trinity. I went over to Arlington. I came back to Trinity. The very first Sunday I was here, I was standing out in the hall, and I saw an old friend from school days. He used to give us rides to school in the wintertime. We didn't always walk, even though we tell the kids that. And his hot rod Mercury. And he says, "Hey, you folks still in Cedar Bluffs?" And I go, "Folks? Well, not folks." So I had to tell him. And the tears are welling up in my eyes. Yes, and then Bob Fagan puts his arm around my shoulder, and I'm bawling. I thought, this isn't working. So much for my plan. God's plans always win out somehow. That noon I went to dinner with my daughters, and I ran to an old friend, moved out of town, and first thing she saw me, she says, "Hey, how's it going?" And I'm thinking, how's it going? You mean how's it going, or how's it going? And so I said, well, you know, my wife died, and she knew. And well, I didn't know she knew. Later I went out to the nursing home. I couldn't go past the nursing home where my wife was at for 4 months. I couldn't even drive by there. Well, finally, after a year and a half, I had the courage, and I went out there. I went out there to see our favorite aide. When I saw that she was there, I saw her car there, I knew she was getting extra care. And I might even get a good hug from her. You don't get many of those anymore. And when I was getting out of the car, another lady I knew, rolled her window down, and she says, "Hey, how's it going?" And I thought she was talking to me. And I says, "Well, you know, I have some good days." I said, "There's some good days and there's some bad days." And she says, "Well, just tell yourself, today she's going to have a good day." And she doesn't know either. So I had to tell her. So I came up with a better answer after that. When somebody says, "How is your wife?" I say, "God only knows." And that's the truth. God only knows. Well, I came back here to Trinity, and I think really, truthfully, God sent me here. As I was sitting in my little seat over there, looking at the bulletin one morning, and it says, Grief Share. And I thought, whoa, that sounds good for me. Some sort of a grief class where I could share and talk to somebody else that knows what I'm going through. And the official word here is, Grief Share is a friendly, caring group of people who will walk alongside you through one of life's most difficult experiences. You don't have to go through the grieving experience alone. And so I called up and found out about it, and I showed up, and I introduced myself. I told them my situation, and one of the ladies said, 5 weeks. Wow, you're brave. And I thought, I'm not brave, I'm desperate. I want to talk to somebody. I didn't know